You know, I never thought a simple job interview could turn my whole world upside down. But there I was, Emma Hayes, gripping my 4-year-old son Liam's hand in the lobby of Voss Industries. This towering glass beast of a building that screamed money and power from every polished corner, and right off the bat, the stares hit like daggers, whispers buzzing around us like angry bees because, heaven forbid, a single mom shows up with her kid in tow. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks as the security guard, this burly guy named Frank with a mustache that looked like it belonged in a 70s cop show, barked at me. "Ma'am, this ain't daycare. You can't just drag a toddler in here." His voice echoing off the marble floors, making me shrink a little inside. But I held my ground, explaining softly that my babysitter flaked last minute Tegan and Liam would be quiet, promise. Because what else could I do, right? We'd scraped by on ramen and odd jobs for months after my ex bailed, leaving me with bills piling up like bad decisions. And this executive assistant gig was my shot at stability, a way to finally give Liam the life he deserved. Not this constant scramble where every dollar stretched thinner than the last. The waiting area was this sterile icebox, all chrome chairs and fluorescent lights that made everyone look washed out. And I sat there in my thrift store blouse and nothing fancy, just clean and pressed, feeling like an intruder in a world of designer suits and perfect blowouts, while Liam doodled on a scrap of paper with his stubby crayons, oblivious to the side-eye from the other candidates. There was this one woman, sleek as a shark in her pencil skirt, leaning over to her buddy and muttering just loud enough. "Look at her, scuffed shoes and a kid. She's got no shot. Probably thinks sympathy will land her the job." And her friend chuckled, that low, mean laugh that cuts deep. But I didn't bite back. I couldn't. Not with Liam watching, his little face so trusting, like I was his superhero who could fix anything. Then Marcus Reed sauntered in, the senior manager with his slicked back hair and a watch that probably cost more than my rent, sipping his overpriced latte, and he spots us, smirks like he's got the punchline to a joke on the butt of, saying to no one in particular, but loud enough for the room, "Can't even swing a sitter?" Low-class move in a place like this. His words dripping with that corporate arrogance born from years of stepping on folks like me to climb the ladder. Maybe because he came from old money and resented anyone who reminded him of the grit he never had to face. Victoria Hale, the HR director, was the real ice queen, though red lips, black blazer, striding in like she owned the air we breathed, and she zeroes in on me. Arms crossed, voice sharp as a knife. "This is unacceptable. Bringing a child to an interview for a high-stakes role. You're disqualified on professionalism alone." And the room erupts in murmurs. Some folks nodding like sheep, others averting their eyes. But inside, my heart was pounding, a mix of rage and desperation bubbling up because I'd prepped for weeks, memorizing Voss Industries' quarterly reports, practicing answers till my voice cracked, all for this chance to prove I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving material. Liam, sensing the storm, tugs my sleeve and whispers, "Mommy, is the lady mad at me?" And I kneel down, brushing his messy curls, forcing a smile that felt like it might shatter, telling him, "No, buddy, she's just having a tough day." Even as my mind raced, how do I shield him from this cruelty, this judgment rooted in their fear of anything that disrupts their perfect, child-free bubble? An older guy across the way, rumpled suit and kind eyes, catches my gaze and mouths, "Hang in there." A tiny lifeline in the sea of disdain, reminding me that not everyone's hardened by the climb. We get called into the interview room anyway, maybe out of pity or protocol, and it's this glass-walled trap with Victoria at the head, Marcus lounging like a king, and a couple others fiddling with their notes, the air thick with tension you could slice. Victoria snaps. The boy waits outside. This is no place for distractions, but I hold firm, voice steady despite the knot in my gut. "I have no one else. He'll sit quiet, I promise." And Marcus scoffs, leaning forward with that predatory grin. "If you can't manage a kid, how do you expect to handle multi-million-dollar deals?" This rolls for closers, not charity cases, his mockery hitting hard because deep down, he saw me as a threat to his tidy world, a reminder that privilege isn't merit, and maybe his own insecurities from boardroom battles made him lash out at the easy target. Liam, bless his heart, pipes up innocently, staring at Marcus. "Are you the boss who makes the big building?" And the panel bursts into laughter, cruel and echoing. Victoria's eyes narrowing as she hisses. Exploiting your child for pity points? Pathetic, but before I can respond, Liam slides off my lap, toddles over with his Drawinga crayon sketch of the Voss Tower, scribbled words underneath. If mommy works here, we eat yummy food always, and hands it to Marcus, who glances and crumples it, tossing it aside with a sneer. Trash, kid, just like this interview. The room going dead silent as I kneel to pick it up, tears pricking but held back. My inner voice screaming that this wasn't just about a job anymore. It was about dignity. About not letting these power-hungry gatekeepers define our worth. That's when the door swings open, and in walks Jonathan Voss himself, the CEO, tall and commanding in his tailored suit. Fresh off some overseas deal, his face etched with the exhaustion of building an empire from nothing, and he pauses, eyes scanning the wreckage, voice calm but cutting. What's the holdup here? Victoria stammers, smoothing her hair. An unfit applicant, sir, she brought her son, unprofessional to the core, pointing at me like I'm Exhibit A in failure. But Jonathan spots the drawing on the floor, picks it up, smooths it out, his fingers lingering on Liam's words, and something shifts in his eyes, maybe a flash of his own past, scraping by as a kid while his single mom hustled 2 jobs. The kind of memory that fuels a fire. He looks at me, then at the panel, and says quietly, almost dangerously, 30 years ago, I was that boy, drawing in hallways while my mother begged for scraps and you just tossed aside a mirror of my story. Victoria's face drains of color. Marcus straightens up like he's been slapped, sputtering. But sir, practicality, we can't bend rules for sob stories. And Jonathan wheels on him, voice rising just enough to command the room. Practicality? What's impractical is blindness to real grit. The kind that builds empires, not hides behind protocols. Turning to me with a nod that feels like redemption. Emma Hayes, why are you really here? And I stand taller, heart racing but words flowing. I've got the skills, the drive, studied your company inside out, and I won't let one bad day define me or my boy. In that moment, the power flips like a switch. Jonathan hires me on the spot, not as some assistant, but to head up a new community outreach program, saying with a wry smile, we need more like you. Folks who know life's not a straight ladder. And as Victoria and Marcus sit there stunned, mouths agape, the assistant in the corner, this quiet girl with glasses, whispers, about time, her own frustrations with the toxic culture bubbling over. We walk out, Liam clutching his drawing like a trophy, and the lobby feels different now, whispers turning to murmurs of respect, even Frank the guard tipping his hat with a gruff, good on ya, ma'am. Fast forward a week. I'm in my new office, badge shining, Liam doodling nearby as I roll out changed family-friendly policies. Inclusive hiring that values heart over polish, and Voss Industries starts shifting, slowly. The old guard like Victoria quietly exploring opportunities elsewhere, her ego bruised by the viral tweet from that assistant about the heartless interview turned triumph, while Marcus gets sidelined. His arrogance exposed as the liability it always was. But here's the thing that sticks with me, life's not always fair. You know, sometimes justice sneaks in sideways. But what if Jonathan hadn't walked in? Would I still be scraping by? Or would that crumple of a drawing have been the end? Makes you wonder about all the unseen battles out there, the folks dismissed for being too real in a fake world. Hey, if this hits close to home, drop a comment below. What do you think? Was it right for them to judge me so harsh? Or is corporate life just cutthroat like that? Share your own stories of pushing back against the odds. Hit that like if you're rooting for the underdogs. And subscribe so we can unpack more of these raw, real moments together, because honestly, your take might just spark the next big conversation.